What we got here? Man, we might be going live every Tuesday. That might be the vibe. Or Sunday. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Good morning, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Good morning. Is how important science is on Purpose Served in this platform in general. I talk about the importance of silence a lot and how we always constantly bombarded with noise with our senses. Um and in the silence you can find truth, the truth. There's a lot of people throughout history that countless amount of examples. Something that's been on my mind as of late, especially with is thinking about the people that still know truth, and their truths were so radical that they got them up out of here. Socrates is a great example of one of them type of people. Who else? Um, Malcolm X was a great example of one of those people. And personally, I think the craziest example of that and how radical it is Jesus Christ. Sunday morning vibes on the truth, and the world looking at you kind of crazy for it. Insane, absolutely insane. But when somebody is walking around questioning existence and trying to figure out what existence is all about, and they move contrary and different to the people that's around, the people around them like look at them like they're freaking nuts. And I just got finished reading this book yesterday called Youth of the Apocalypse, and this book was an interesting book too. Um, good morning, Lulu. I don't know. Um, it don't matter who's here or not. I will be just talking, but thank you for being here. Seriously. Um, but living out the truth is extremely, extremely important for those of y'all that's watching and those of y'all that's listening. And people try to convince us that there's a gray area in between the two. One thing that I've been talking to others about, and just what I've been recognizing within myself, is just that you got good and evil, you got a lie and a truth, you got light and dark, and it's either going to be on one side or the other. That's just the extreme side of me, to be quite honest. But when you hear a lot of times where you hear like this is my truth and this is your truth, the one thing that I've been recognizing, and this is something saying verbatim, I found myself saying verbatim as of late recently, is just that that's a subtle form of deception, and people should learn to come to understand the truth for what it is, and that's a thing to get down to the bottom of, to be quite honest. But who also wants to live in a lie? That's kind of freaking nuts, if you ask me. It's kind of crazy. Oh, thank you for the support. Seriously. But ultimately, I think that once you disconnect to the world as this world is right now, how people like made it to be, and with the creator, the highest source within yourself, then that's where your true happiness is going to be found. That's where your true joy and purpose is going to be found. It's not going to be found in these artificial means that we are like growing accustomed to so fast. This is like kind of nuts, like this world that we're living in. It really is like madness. And it's also the one thing that's also crazy, like to recognize, is the things that we've created for ourselves in the means of, like, for example, technology. It's crazy that I could just by a click of a button like reach you guys. That's amazing. That really is amazing. But um us as human beings, we're like this kind of nuts. You can use a knife to kill somebody. Shouldn't have said that on live. But or you could use a knife to make a sandwich. But that is that fine line that I'm talking about right now, to be quite honest. All right, Lulu, have a good one. Um, but we have to like literally learn how to live off, and that's a very very patient road to walk now. It's also a narrow way to walk down as well, and oftentimes people don't like spending time with themselves. To be quite honest, they like to escape and distract themselves um, with noise. That's what we're used to. But seriously, used to like getting bombarded with noise constantly, all the freaking time. It's like madness that it's even like uncomfortable to sit there and be in silence with yourself for like a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And this is essential that I believe that we should be practicing at some point. At any trying to be in a state of prayer for ourselves first, and in the world around us. And then after that, I truly believe from that type of process, you will get the answers on who you need to be in this world and where you need to go, which a lot of people don't um trying to like speedball through life, especially if you here in this in America, you're like kind of conditioned to speedball through life. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? How can I always stay on top of like the trends and keep up with what's going on in our culture? And it's a lot, man. But how often are you keeping yourself and making sure that you're good in order to come to the world okay and good? That really is the order. Checking in with yourself before you checking in with other people and making sure like you're good. And in that way, you're able to align and serve your purpose. Um, what word am I looking for? You're able to serve your purpose in a aligning way. So with that being said, you guys should serve your purpose. Serve your purpose. Always be in a state of prayer. Always be talking to the creator who created you instead of looking towards created things to try to find yourself. That is pretty nuts. That's pretty nuts. Thanks for the people that's on live right now. You know what I mean? But oftentimes, if you truly walking all over the place, oftentimes if you truly walking and like your purpose is you're gonna look like the 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, and you'll have to walk that line because there's oftentimes something that I preach on this platform or like on here all the time. It's just that when you walking down that fine line, you you have something authentic or a light. And that's an analogy just to say that we all like are different and we all are unique in our own way, shape, and form. And to live an example of somebody else's life is a death trap. That truly is a death trap. Somebody's alarm going off out there. Um, sorry about that background noise. Seeing when something like this comes out, there's going to be a form of distraction. But I ain't gonna let that distract me. um, but yeah, the examples that I was just talking about of people that like lived the truth and they ended up dying for it, it's like kind of nuts. Like Malcolm X to me, like on here, that lived the truth and was getting brainwashed with so many lies until he went to Mecca and he ultimately realized that, oh man, not all Muslims are black. There's Asian Muslims, there's white Muslims, there's Muslims all around, and that we don't humanity problem. That to me is like one of the most pro things of all time. And then with him coming back and spreading a different message that didn't align with the agenda of the culture and society at that standpoint. And that's the same thing with earlier. He was talking so crazy, so different that they ultimately got him out of here. And it was like you either going to denounce the things that you're saying or you're going to have to drink this poison. That man said, I'm drinking that poison. Give me that cup. Get me out of here. This is nuts. I'm not changing my my truth for you guys. And they ultimately killed him. And people like that, it amazes me when they get met with literally death itself. It's like, well, I'm gonna die on this truth. That to me is nuts. A lot of people are like cowards, to be quite honest. That's a scary, scary, like that's a scary thing to do. Is when death is literally right in front of you. You know, are you going to Yup, I can see y'all comments. I can see y'all comments. How y'all doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm over here. I appreciate it greatly. I hope y'all are having a wonderful day, man. I hope y'all having a beautiful, beautiful day. It's a blessing every single morning that we get to get up and consciously first breath. Beautiful. Um, my day's going good. Thank you for asking. It's going pretty good. I woke up in my own silence today, to be quite honest, and I said this YouTube vibe can y'all can take some of this in. Seriously, I wish y'all like a really really wonderful day. Nothing but good vibes over here. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but good vibes. Yeah, if you're going through this whole entire day, be observant of your feelings. Be observant of your thoughts. Don't be one with feelings and don't be one with your thoughts. Don't identify with them. So even though you're having a good day, be aware that you are observant that you're having a good day. And if anything today throws you off, thank you for sending you down in the dumps. Just be observant of that as well. Pretty much in a state of prayer, and that's how you manage to be in a eye of the storm, in the eye of the hurricane, and not lose your way. Because people got some heaviness, like you know what I'm saying, around with some heaviness. And why not be that light that's around the darkness? Why not be that feather that's around nothing but bowling balls that's trying to weigh you down? Be that feather. I constantly say that all the time, people. Don't get weighed down where earthly matters. Because it's so easy. It's so easy to be thinking about, I'm not in a predicament that I want to be in. I don't have the job status that I want. I'm not making the money that I want. I don't have a relationship that I want. Everything. And I think that's what makes us start trying to speedball through life instead of just sitting and being being okay that we in this moment right now. What attention of being in this moment right now is the most beautiful thing. Hopefully y'all like near y'all window or something, or y'all outside. I mean, I guess y'all hear my voice, but pay attention to the sounds that's happening like around y'all. No diddler in my sittler. But ultimately speaking, be in a moment. Like seriously, be in a moment. Don't be distracted with how many things like pull you away from the responsibility of knowing what direction that you be quite honest. Don't be distracted. Focus. Focus on getting yourself right first, and then after that, help the people out that's around you. Seriously. Because I think that trying to help people out or think that they helping people out means that's going to help them out. That's nuts. I don't make any sense. And she realized like the issues with like the kids like nowadays is first off, it's quite obvious who wants to sit there like for example and like read and stuff like that, but they're literally any examples that she threw out there is that she'd give out an assignment for them to write 5 sentences and they can't even do that. That's insane. They do 2.5 sentences and be like, what's the point of this? You already know what I'm trying to say. That's insane. I mean, we all, I guess, had that like. Now at this point, I'm understanding how important it is to be able to like critically think about things. Because if not, somebody gonna be thinking for you. You think you spewing out your own ideas, but you're not. You probably are repeating something that you heard on TikTok, and that's a dangerous thing. It's a make you feel good, or that's going to support your claims of being right and trying to prove somebody wrong. But the truth shall make you free. The truth shall make you free. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's highly important. Um, Something else that's critical to understand when you're dealing with the silence and you're dealing with the bombardment of noises and everything. It's not your physical body that's, you know, the thing that you should be focusing on. It should be your senses, and our senses are intangible aspects to who we are, which points to like this invisible world that we also live in, as well as this physical, tangible world. So an example of this is sound. Our ears are instruments that take in that intangible thing of sound. Um, our eyes are tangible things to take in that intangible thing of sight. Because what is sound, what is sight, but they just as real as physical things. This is insane. What the? Insane. Insane. But um yeah, so the intangible is to this world and not what our ears are and what our nose pick up on, but what is that thing that allows us to have sight and allow us to hear the sounds that we hear? That's that right there is important to focus on. That right there is a way for you to draw and try to get to what your soul calling actually is and get out of this soul sickness that we living in. And this is a tough message to digest, but at the same time, we must realize that we are living in a body in a world that's decaying right now as we speak, to us in the good book and by the Holy One himself, that you must die to this world in order to have everlasting life. You have to die to this world to receive the truth. Because if you living in this world, you're going to be living in darkness and you're not going to receive the truth. You're going to constantly passions. And that's what's going on with a lot of people, is just that they're suffering from chasing their passions. And suffering is going to be there no matter what, but why not suffer with a purpose and suffer for? That's why um people that practice asceticism and people that decide, you know what, this is one dude that's just stuck on my brain, Father Saint Anthony, and this dude was a monk from Orthodox Christianity, and he decided at the age of 18, with a wealthy family, I think his parents died, but he decided to sell all his riches and head to the desert in order to find God. Amazing. Sold everything he had and gave it to the poor, and ended up in the desert. Limited amount of food, limited amount of water, and just practicing every day, drawing closer and nearer to God, and ended up impacting so many people's lives from doing this. And the scripture, when he decided to do this, was to sell all his riches and possessions and give it to the poor and follow me. Who Christ, like, that was the person who essentially said that, and that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. We all are looking for peace. We all looking for tranquility, and we think that we're gonna find it in temporary things. And we have to know deep down within ourselves that there is something that's peaceful, that's really gonna bring eternal rest out there. And if we're never ever going to find it, we gotta look in like the opposite direction. And I guess every single Sunday, not every single Sunday, but for majority of Sundays, I'm going to be going live and I'm going to be talking about these things because I feel as though they're important for people to know. And it's very, very important that you hold that silence within yourself. And you could obviously, like, the best place to be is in a quiet room to get into that state of prayer. But ultimately, once you get really, really good at this, you should be carrying that prayer state any and everywhere you go. And ultimately asking God to prepare your like mind and spirit and your certainties of the world, because you got the certainty within yourself that's anchoring you down to carry you through this crazy roller coaster thing that we call life, that has all different types of craziness that's happening constantly. And you can find that yourself. So you should be waking up and silencing yourself before you even get your day started, and making sure that you're grounded in who you are, and make sure that you're connected to the source of where you came from. And that should be the last thing that you do when this is insane. But damn, that's where the focus is at. Living the truth every single day. Not ourselves to live out a lie to the point where the lie is so deep in our culture that we accept it as truth. And if we look at our music, if we look at our art, if we look at a lot of things that represent our culture and tells the times that we're living in, it's showing us that people are deeply depressed, they're deeply unhappy, they're unsatisfied, they're lonely, bring themselves around the same people that feel the same exact way as them. So even though you were sharing the same space and in the same places as people, if they're just as empty as you, that's an empty room. That's equivalent to you being by yourself, to be quite honest. And it's not like that any and everywhere, but that's what this world is like. It's a bunch of people that are empty inside instead of being filled up free in spirit. To everybody that's listening is gonna come across this at some point, start yourself out in silence amongst the noise that you are in, and trying to find the truth, the joy, and the light of God created you and all of humanity. And deep down, know that people are a reflection of you, and you are a reflection of other people. And a very important thing to recognize is that you need to carry that with you everywhere you go. Carry that ripple with you everywhere you go. Recognize that if you doing harm to somebody else, you need to feel as though you're doing harm to like all of humanity. And if you're protecting yourself, you not only protecting yourself, but you're protecting humanity as well. You are a reflection of everybody that came before you, and also everybody that's going to be coming after you. That's a crazy burden to have, but we all have that burden. To be quite honest, we all have that burden. So stay strong out there. Stay strong. Um, keep serving your purpose. Check out the Purpose Served podcast. We're closing in on 100. Yeah. But yeah, go check out the Purpose Served podcast. If you want to hear me ramble some more. Other than that, I appreciate y'all. Hold it down. Serve your purpose. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. I'm out of here.